Good morning. So I got a package yesterday, and yeah, um, this is a game that I've been excited about. Well, this is the game that got me into hobby gaming. This is the game that really ultimately led to the foundation of games and geekery and everything. Um, Back when I was a kid, my family and I used to play this board game back when it was first came out, and a few years back now, it was announced that this particular game, this classic board game, was getting re-released, and I wanted to buy it. I still have like an original copy upstairs with some extra bits, but I'm obsessed with this game, so I had to get myself a copy. However, I couldn't really justify the expense of buying a brand new copy of it when it first came out. And of course, nobody's selling them secondhand, or at least not complete. So, because it's such an awesome game, and but it recently came down in price like a couple of days ago. So I bought myself one, and it arrived yesterday, and I haven't unboxed it yet. So I thought I would do it right now, live. If you're wondering what the jingling is, it's because my um, utility knife is on my keys. So as I'm cutting, the keys are jingling. That should be all I need the keys for, though. All right. So the seals are open. Okay, I guess I spoke too soon, because inside the massive Amazon box is a slightly smaller Hasbro box. What? Okay, so fuck. This is like Russian dolls, Russian nesting dolls. All right, so let's cut the tape on the second box. Also, this better not be boxes all the way down until I get like a tiny little thing at the inside all of the boxes. Okay, no, here we go. Here we go. Now we're on. Look, if you can see a sneak peek of it there. Yeah. Yeah. Hero Quest. So, this is the game that started it all for me. So, for those of you that don't know, in Hero Quest, there are 4 adventurers. Here they are on the back. The wizard, the elf, the dwarf, and the barbarian. And they have to fight against hordes of monsters and devious traps and go through various rooms. I loved this game. I adore this game. I hope it feels like the game that I used to play when I was like 11. I mean, I've played, as I said, I still own an old copy of it. I've owned several, actually. When I was living in America, I bought a used copy of it for like $100, and discovered something interesting about it, actually. So in the original, this is interesting. Okay, so in the original UK version of Hero Quest, the evil wizard was called Morcar. And whilst in the American version, he was called Zargon or something like that. And sure enough, in this version, he's once again called Zargon. But the interesting thing is, and it's probably because, okay, so the original version was published by Games Workshop and MB Games. back in the 90s, I think, in 1991, maybe. Um, and Games Workshop, of course, went on to make Warhammer. And in the Warhammer lore, Morcar was the first chosen of chaos, like the first chosen of chaos undivided. It was spelled slightly differently. I think it was originally MOR-CAR, and then in Warhammer it was MOR-KAR or something. But they became part of the expanded lore when I got into Warhammer, because excuse me, when I got into Warhammer, I discovered that it was all connected. One of my favorite characters, because I got into the Chaos Warbands in Warhammer as well, that the Chaos Warriors, that that Morcar was part of their history, and their newest champion, Archaon, the Undefeated, had one of his items, one of the things that marked him as the Ever Chosen, was that he had an artifact that had originally belonged to Morcar. And I thought that was cool that my two favorite games at the time were connected. But anyway, so it's not anymore. The new version of Hero Quest is published by Hasbro and Avalon Hill. Not a big fan of Hasbro at the moment, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to get myself Hero Quest when it came down in price. If you're wondering why I'm not a big fan of Hasbro at the moment, it's because Hasbro also own Dungeons and Dragons. And if you're a fan of Dungeons and Dragons at all, if you've been following the recent controversy, then you'll know that recently Hasbro tried to pull a fast one with the D&D community and update the original OGL, the Open Gaming License, to not be quite so open. They've it was leaked to the public, the changes they were planning to make, and there was some huge pushback from the D&D creators community and the community as a whole. And Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro lost a ton of money, and they've since relented and decided to keep the original OGL, which like, I know why as a business they were trying to do what they were trying to do, but yeah, no. But anyway, fuck Hasbro, fuck OG, fuck Wizards of the Coast. I'm going to be using D&D 5e until I come up with an alternative. I'm either going to... Pathfinder looks like an interesting choice, and I may end up getting myself a set of Pathfinder books at some point, but I'm actually working on my own game system. And if you follow this channel or my the actual Games and Geekery channel, or the Games and Geekery Facebook page, or Games and Geekery in general, I'm sure there will be updates on my progress on that before too long. But I decided to do this on my personal channel instead of Games and Geekery because it's kind of personal. But anyway, so this is the first thing you see when you open the box, is like and what's in here? Ooh, okay. It's a thing that contains a bunch of minis. Nice. And the dice. Oh, wow. I really should have thought ahead and brought my old box down so we could compare some of these minis. Maybe I'll do that on a future video, comparing the miniatures from each set. And then this is the second layer. Again, it's got the same Hero Quest design on the front. Oh, and this is cool. So this contains the furniture pieces, which are all plastic, whilst originally they were all cardboard with plastic stands. Well, actually, some of the, like, the weapon rack was plastic. I'll show you on a future video some of the differences. Character sheets, the cards, the rack, the altar, the doorways. Very cool, very cool. Um, and then underneath all that, okay, the tiles are in here. I'm gonna have to open this. I'm gonna have to. I'm not gonna. All right, so bye bye. So much for. I'm not gonna. Yeah, we're gonna play this. We're not keeping it mint in box. We are going to play this. So these are tiles. You punch them out of the sheet. Oh wow, I don't know what those skull ones are. Are those to mark death? I'm gonna have to find out. Those are new, but and so is this one here. The symbol up in the corner. These ones lock passages. We've got secret passageways. We've got pit traps. Those are cool. Toby, hold on a second. This holds me, throws me back. This is basically the DM screen, or the evil wizard screen. Wow. They've updated the artwork on all of this. Again, like in a future video, I'll show you the difference. The rule book, and there's the evil wizard and the heroes on the back. They look. They decided to go for like a World of Warcraft style almost for the elf and the dwarf, but yeah, it's still going to be a cool game. The quest book. Is it the same quests? The trial. The rescue of Sir Ragnar. The lair of the Orc Warlord. Yes. Okay. And the board is bigger. I think. Well, again, we'll do a compare video in the future. But this. Oh, it looks almost identical. This is the game board. I have got that configuration of heads of squares mapped out in my head. Like I could probably draw that. Well, not the detail, but the arrangement of rooms blindfolded to this day, because not only was I obsessed with the game, but when we and this, yeah, not only did was I obsessed with the game, but we played through all of the expansion sets, and I started designing my own quests for this game. As again, this is the game that started me out as a dungeon master. This is the game that made me obsessed with hobby gaming. And hopefully we'll get to play that today, because later today, in less than a couple of hours, I'm going to be meeting up with some of the local gamers and geeks to play some board games and card games, and I'm probably going to take that with me and see if they're willing to play it. We've got 4 other people there, so that would be perfect. They can each take a piece, and I can be that would be cool. I hope they're up for it. We'll see, but yeah. So after part of the reason why I got into Warhammer after Hero Quest was because I was designing these new quests, and I wanted more miniatures to go along with. I think I created a quest that involved draconic warriors. I couldn't find any miniatures of draconic warriors, but I found the lizard folk, the lizard men, as they were called back then, in from Warhammer. I believe they've got a different name now, but yeah, I got the lizard men, and I also saw while I was at it some Skaven, because I thought it'd be fun to have rat men running around and some orcs and goblins that had bows, because there's already orcs and goblins in Hero Quest, but the idea of having ranged monsters was fun. But I read the little pamphlet that came with the miniatures and found out about Warhammer and Warhammer 40k. My dad and I played Warhammer for a while, and I later got into Warhammer 40k. Now, the thing that the thing about what we've gone beyond the purview of this video now. I'm just rambling, but I hope you don't mind. The thing with Warhammer is that it's a competitive game, and I like the lore building. I like the story aspect of hobby gaming, and I would build an army that fit a theme or an idea or some lore that I'd built. And my opponent invariably would build an optimized army that would whoop my ass, and it wasn't fun to actually play Warhammer. I enjoyed the lore. I enjoyed making the characters and making, scratching, building my own miniatures. I liked creating the world that my army came from. The culture that my warband of chaos and or Chaos Space Marines later on came from, the trials and tribulations that led them to the place that they were. But and all throughout this, while I was collecting Warhammer still, and later on Magic the Gathering, which is also a very competitive game, and you get your ass kicked by people with optimized deck builds while you're trying to make something thematic and cool. That's Hasbro too, by the way, Magic the Gathering. But I throughout I was also running a narrative roleplay game on Facebook called City of Gate, which evolved into the D&D games that I'm running now. And the game system that I'm mentioning earlier, the one I'm working on, because the world that I had in my head before I started adding 5e rules to the game so that we could, because I wanted to play in my world, but people wanted to play D&D, so I used D&D 5e. But that's there are some aspects of Dungeons and Dragons that don't really fit my original vision, like the nine hells and in the Abyss, for example. The whole Blood War thing is D&D lore, not my world lore. And there were some of my original creatures and monsters that I could approximate with D&D, but so I'm going to build my world, and I'm going to build a set of rules to go with my world, and hopefully it's going to be fun and exciting, and and that you're into it. And like I said, if you want more news about progress about that, then like and subscribe and ring the bell for this channel and the Games and Geekery YouTube channel, because it's probably going to be mostly announced on Games and Geekery because it's all about that. Although I don't know, I may end up being on this one too. I don't know. This was originally supposed to be like my author channel back when I was trying to be a writer, and that kind of falls into both categories. So yeah, the writing of a book of rules for my Games and Geekery roleplay system kind of fits both. So anyway, this is I'm not trying to be an author anymore, or at least not at the moment. Though I suppose writing my own rule book would actually be considered being an author, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's what I've got. So I wanted to I wanted to unbox Hero Quest and get all excited about it, and I did that. So I may as well use the sign off I usually use for Games and Geekery, which is no matter what role you play, have a good game.